So, you own a GS, do you? And it's time to change your oil. Well, stick around. We're going to show you how to do it. Perhaps you have purchased one of these beautiful motorcycles and it's now time to change the oil. But you spent $35,000 on a fully outfitted and updated GS, so you have no more money to go back to the dealership, right? Everybody complains about this. I like to maintain my own stuff because I know it's done right. I don't have to go to anybody at a stuck-up dealership. I don't have to be without my bike at all. And it really helps me stay in tune with the way the bike is supposed to run and act. Just in case, I'm out there in the woods and I have a problem, I'm gonna know how to fix it. So let me take you through the oil change. This is the most basic of maintenance procedures you need to do on your own, and it's a lot easier than you think. Here is what you need to change your oil. You're gonna need a T27 Torx bit to take off the bash plate. You're gonna need a 10mm hex head, Allen wrench socket, if you will, to remove the drain plug. You need a pair of pliers. You can be a Neanderthal and use channel locks, or you can use some oil plier wrenches just to get the filter loose. You're gonna need roughly 4 quarts or 1 gallon of your favorite oil. This is my opinion only, but I really like Castrol Power One. It's fully synthetic and it has the 4T rating, which allows it to be used in a motorcycle. And of course, the weight that we want to use for this beast is 5W40. You can use so many different varieties of oil filters. This is one of the most popular ones out there that you can buy in bulk. This is the HF160. The 160 is the important model number. Many manufacturers use the same number system. And right here I have a K&N 160, which is designed for the 1200s and 1250s. I like K&N's filters. They're like $15 US, a couple dollars more than the high flows. But the reason why I like them is because they weld a little nut on the top of this, which makes it super easy to change, especially in the woods. Now, finally, a bonus I'm going to talk to you about is how you reset the service indicator light. So if you don't go to the dealership and they don't plug in, BMW, you're so stuck up, we have to go to the dealership to get the check engine light turned off. Most of the models require it to be plugged in and downloaded to the mothership. So with the OBD Link dongle, okay, and I'll show you the links in the description on which ones to get, and an Android cell phone, you can actually do this reset yourself. And I'll take you through how to do that. But first, let's drain the old oil out of this bike. And what we're gonna wanna do is make sure the bike is nice and warm, because warm oil drains much easier. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're gonna remove these Torx bits. There is 5 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And this will disengage your skid plate. Okay, now that we have that off, you can see the drain plug is right here. And so we're going to loosen that up. But first, make sure you put the drain pan underneath. While that's draining, take a look at the drain plug. And in the very section here with the magnet, you'll see metal filings. Make sure you take a rag and just wipe that off. Make sure it's nice and clean. For a brand new bike, this doesn't really have much going on, but this is pretty critical, especially in the initial oil change where you're pulling out the break-in. Now we're going to pull the oil filter out, and the oil filter is right here. Very, very easy to access. Sometimes the initial filter can be on there pretty tight from the factory. This one's not bad. Make sure the drain pan is still underneath, because you will get a little bit of residual oil dripping down. As you can see. While I'm doing this, I also take a rag and make sure that I wipe the inside edges of this off so that there's no debris accidentally getting into the new oil filter. While that's draining, go ahead and pop off your back seat, and you'll notice the special factory tool for the oil fill is located right here. Now the way this works is you pull the shaft out, and you can see the little thing here. This fits right into the edge of this to pry. And you basically come over here and just stick it in and loosen it up. Ta-da! Now we're going to come back around. The oil should be pretty much done draining. What I do is I take the new oil filter and I just put a little bit of oil on top of here and lubricate this gasket. This has got to be nice and slippery so that we can tighten this up again. I also notice a little bit more oil is drained out of here, so I'm just going to go ahead and make sure I get all the dirt and junk from there, and then we're going to wind this on. Now, how tight do you tighten it? Well, you don't want it to leak. So what I do is I just go about as tight as I can with my hand. And that's about it. Maybe take the rag, just clean everything up a little bit. And some oil has dripped on the exhaust. So the beautiful thing about the chrome exhaust is it wipes right off. And it will remind you that you changed your oil when you start it up. You're going to smell just a little bit, so that will burn right off. You could put a little brake cleaner on this rag if you wanted to and gently wipe it off, but I don't really want to do that. Okay, oil is still trickling a little bit. Once this is done, we're going to pop the drain plug in, and it will be time to start filling. Okay, the oil stopped draining. We're going to put this plug back in. Usually like to stick it on there like this to start it. And then we'll snug this up with a torque wrench. There we go. Going to take a rag, and I'm just going to wipe the residual off, because that way, just in case we have a leak of some sort, we'll know that we didn't tighten something up. Now we're going to put the bash plate back on. Now we're going to add the oil. I add 3.5 quarts first, or just about 3.5 liters, if you will. And then I'm going to check the oil level, and I'll show you the reason why. There's a sight glass right down here, and you can see this red circle with a line. I fill it right up to the edge of that, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start it to check for leaks, and then I'm going to check it again. BMW has an interesting way of checking the oil on these things. They want you to check the oil hot, but what they want you to do is get the bike hot, shut it off, and within a minute, or about a minute after you shut it off, check the oil level. And it should be somewhere in this red circle. If it's within the red circle, then it's okay. I obviously would prefer to have it a little bit towards the top of the red circle, just in case I start using oil. I have a little bit of reservoir, but you never want to overfill your motorcycle, because that can cause problems as well. So let's start it up and see what it looks like. So you can see it's essentially empty right now because all the oil is up in the motor, and obviously we're very low on oil as well because we haven't filled it up all the way. I just wanted to point your attention to the smoke that is coming out. That's fine, that's normal. That's just a little bit of the residual that was on the pipe burning off. Let's add a little bit more oil, shall we? Okay, we're going to start it back up again, and this time we're going to let it get warm. Okay, within a minute of shutting it down, we want to make sure that that is in the correct area, which it does look pretty good. I think it could be a little bit higher, so I'm going to just top it off just a little bit. Now, of course, we have the proper oil level on. We want to make sure that we tighten this back up. Just going to use our tool again. Do not forget to tighten this back up, because you will lose oil through this if you don't. And you don't need to go hog wild on the operation. Just snug it. I'm always paranoid about oil levels, so I'll probably check this again after I ride it for a little bit. It's currently 20 degrees Fahrenheit outside, so it's just not ideal riding weather. Now I'm going to show you how to do the reset on the factory service indicator. Okay, to access the service connector, you have to remove the panel here. This is a T25 Torx bit. It's the same place your battery is. Very, very easy to get to. If you don't have a T25 screwdriver, the tool that we just stowed in the seat actually has one built into it, which is fantastic. Now you can see right here, there's a small connector, and this is your access port. It always fights me a little bit to come off, but the side tabs pull this off. This stays on the bike, typically clipped in there, but I always have a hard time with it. I have the OBD2 link dongle here. You have to buy the more expensive one that is the MX Plus because it has to have that bidirectional support. You can use this on anything that's OBD2, like your pickup truck, your car, or any other BMW motorcycles, but it has to have that to talk with MotoScan. This isn't a video on how to use this device, but you have to pair it with your phone, and it's gonna plug right into this connector right here, like so, and you'll see it powering up. It's not going to be fully powered on because the engine is not running. So, or excuse me, the ignition is not on. So we'll power the ignition on, and then I have my burner Android phone that I just used for this, and I'm going to go up into the MotoScan app. I'm going to select my bike, which is the r1250 GS Adventure K51. And it's got a bunch of selections on here you can make. Once you have this loaded, you're going to go to the instrument cluster, KOMBI, and you're going to select that, and you're going to see this screen. And what you're going to do is, you guessed it, go down to service reset. We're going to click that. It's going to populate this screen right here. And what we're going to do on this screen is make sure the date is correct on the motorcycle, because obviously services are time dependent, but also mileage dependent. So the date is set on this correctly right now. And it's asking me to reset the service reminder to the next service interval, which on this bike will be 10,000 miles, and it will be approximately 12 months from now. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit reset, and it says reset okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and hit the date reset as well, because I don't want this to pop on in a month or two when it's been activated for a couple months and say, hey, you need to do something. So now we're all set, and actually tells me the next service is due, and all that jazz. It's perfect. So this would be, you know, a couple $100 at the dealership, and I own this phone for like 20 bucks. And the module, I don't remember how much that Bluetooth thing costs, maybe $100, but I use it all the time for everything. Once I'm done with everything else, I'm just gonna back out of here just to make sure that it saves everything. I'm back to the home screen, and I'm pretty much done with this service. I'm gonna unplug this and button it up and just make sure everything works. So we're back on the home screen here, and if we go to the menu feature, we should be able to go down to my vehicle, and we should be able to go over to service requirements, and you can see that it has been reset. Not only is the time reset, but also the remaining distance till the next oil change is set up. Phew, pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool. Hey, I hope this video helped you. I know it's really basic, but you know, it's just something you can do on your own that is very rewarding, and it helps you understand. Of course, the viewpoints in this video are just mine, just my own opinion. If you choose to follow them, that's your deal. Thanks again for tuning in, and remember, ride safe.